It's been a while now. Do you feel ready to talk? Can I get you another coffee? Listen, the sooner you tell us what happened, the sooner we can move forward. So, why don't you start from when you lost the camera feeds in the control room?
After losing the camera feeds, I was completely oblivious to what was going on outside. For whatever reason, I just kept expecting someone or something to burst through the control room door, so I just sat in the corner, waiting for backup to arrive, which had already been delayed a lot longer than expected. I began to suspect that there was an even more severe underlying issue with the facility. The only thing I could think of at that point was to reset the power grid, which could restore the system and override the lockdown, or plunge the facility into darkness and fail to come back on at all. It was a long shot, but the last thing I wanted to do was open that control room door without knowing what was on the other side. As the power gradually restored, it did appear to reboot the system, and I was relieved to see the camera feeds come back online, although it did reveal an unsettling realization that the security door to the storage unit was now open. I carefully checked each camera to verify whether or not I could safely make it to the exit. The coast seemed clear, and I could see that the door to the exit was no longer blocked, so it appeared that rebooting the system did override the lockdown. At this point, I had to assume that help wasn't coming, and it was up to me to escape to the upper floor and contact HQ. But after quickly skipping over the camera overlooking the security clearance bay, I caught something in the corner of my eye, something morbidly familiar. Then I remembered the same creature I had witnessed in the X-ray from the security brief. Long, slender arms, longer than any human, and skin absent of any hair or pigmentation. I know I should have probably felt safer in the control room, but after seeing how the storage unit was breached, it felt much more like I was trapped. After carefully observing the creature on the monitor, I realized that it appeared to be in a state of retreat and almost motionless, as if it were dormant. I thought that perhaps if I was quiet enough, I might be able to slip right past and walk straight through the exit. My slow descent down the long corridor suddenly came to an abrupt stop as I witnessed a shadow reach out from the clearance bay. I figured I wouldn't have enough time to run back to the control room without being seen, so I instead quickly retreated into the locker room, closing the door behind me, but not all the way. I didn't want to risk making any noise. I wanted desperately to catch my breath, but I knew being as quiet as I could was probably my only chance of survival, so I waited silently in the dark locker room as I observed in horror the light from the door reaching back into the room. The tension of that moment just forced me to close my eyes and try to think of something that could offer an instance of solace. But then my eyes opened and the shadow was gone. After confirming I was alone in the locker room, I approached the door and acquired a partial view of the exit. With my back to the wall, I gradually edged closer to the corner opposite the exit, where I took one last look at the security clearance bay. But there was no sign of the creature. I wasn't going to waste any more time, so I headed to the exit, but as I grabbed the door handle, I suddenly felt overwhelmed with incredible fear that left me completely paralyzed. Still unable to move, I began hearing a strange sound resonating from the exit, which was quickly accompanied by the emergence of a long, slender figure. It was only at the very last moment help finally arrived.
What the hell? How's he still alive?
And that's the last thing I remember.
Well, you were right. SCP-303 can be used to contain 096.
Sure looks that way. So from now on, we keep them in close proximity, especially since we now know how to properly control 303.
And if 303 decides to no longer cooperate?
Well, luckily for us, the security guard's exposure to 096 has revealed an unexpected benefit.
Which is?
It would appear that 096 never attacks the same target twice, and if you're lucky enough to survive the initial hostile encounter with 096, you become essentially immune. My point being, we can't let him go. He already knows too much, and the fact that he's now immune to the effects of 096 provides us with an opportunity in case 303 decides to resist.
Recruitment? But can we trust him?
We can't trust anyone, but we could set him up with an assignment to see if he's ready.
What did you have in mind? Oh, that one? Seriously? Do you really think he will succeed where everyone else at the Foundation has failed?
Most unlikely, but that will be his problem, not ours.